everyone, and thank you for tuning in for another episode of the Country Rose Farm Channel here on YouTube. Today I'd like to give everyone kind of a tour of our garden. And let's go ahead and get kicked off here at the beginning of our garden. Oldest one we've got is over here on the side of the house, so let's try there first. This one that you're seeing here is the side garden that I've been kind of embarrassed to show everyone due to the weeds, but you know, I'm just going to put all the ugly out there and let everyone see the progress. Here are some tomatoes that I've gotten started, some ruckers, the onions and the lettuce. The cilantro, the carrots, and the onions and a couple of cabbages. Thank goodness, at least one cabbage looks like it's gonna make it. I never seem to have any luck growing cabbages because of attacking cows. Sure enough, a cow did enter into this garden, and that's what really kind of got me discouraged about taking care and weeding it. But I have been attempting to make it look a little bit better. I've added some mulch on the side to cut down on the weeds. Over here you can see where I'm experimenting growing a mango. I got about 4 or 5 mangles growing, and these are for the animals. I'm going to see how they store over the winter, if the animals do like it. Oh, look, the 3 little kittens, the major culprits to destroying a lot of the onions and lettuce that I have, and the reason why we purchased an electric fence system. Thank you guys, appreciate it. So let's go back up the hill here. Over to the right, this was the cold frame that was put on here, I think January or February. And this is one of the bee boxes. With some mushrooms. How beautiful, growing in there out of the stump. Isn't that nice? This is our vineyard, which we started about 2 or 3 years ago, and this has been the best year yet. So you can just imagine how maybe sad it was the past couple of years, as it was still in a very juvenile state. But you see here, well, I am getting some grapes. This is a type of Concord that these cuttings come from a plant that was up in the north. They're used to a drier climate. But we're trying to see if we can't encourage them. And look, fruits. They'll be turning a nice dark purple. So there's 5 Concords, and here you'll see where we've started a type of sweet grape that someone that we knew used to make wine out of. And I'm not sure if we're going to be able to get to that stage where we're making wine, but sweet grape makes sweet jelly. Then up here in this corner of the house area, the corner yard next to the road, I have a blackberry patch starting out, and this is the first year, so it's not going to be impressive, but I'm hoping that next year, and with encouragement from viewers like you, I will stick to this and work on developing a nice blackberry patch. You'll see the strings there marking my rows. I found some dewberries just growing naturally in this corner, probably from previous inhabitants, and there again are my garden destroying felines. And over to the side, maybe some of y'all have heard of a hugel culture. This is a hugel bed beginning that I started back in January, and you lay sticks all in a certain direction, then you put compost and clippings and manure, and we lovingly call it the snake house. And we get all the snakes on our side. But oh, blackberries, that are not in the rows. This one just popped out of nowhere, so that's fine. You just kind of gotta, you win some, you lose some. So here's the front yard garden. These are the potatoes that we had, everyone had seen earlier, and they're almost to the end. They're going to start dying back, and we'll start harvesting. It's an exciting time. 3 chock-full rolls of kidneyback potatoes, mixed in with purple clover. We found that the potatoes that were seemingly smothered by the purple clover have done better, so might be something we do next year. And here's the beans. They have taken over okra and corn. Y'all saw in a video I did previously where the corn and the okra were growing, and I thought they would grow faster than the beans, but the beans have taken off. Corn, you can see they're growing, trying to not be suffocated by the beans, so I don't know what to do with it. Oh, here we have a blueberry. I don't know if you can see it from this angle. Let's try over here. Oh, there we go. Okay. 1 blueberry. I've had these bushes almost 4 years now. And there's maybe a couple in the back, but I'm still trying to figure out blueberry bushes. But on top of that, over here in this antique 1890s manure spreader, I have poppies and hollyhocks, black-eyed Susans, and lots of lamb's quarter growing. Dandelions are allowed to grow there too. This is kind of a treat for the bees. Dandelions will tend to bloom spontaneously during the winter to kind of help, if it's warm enough, the bees can have some forage. Over here, get back to the embarrassing green bean episode. I'll be putting some stakes out and stringing this up. We were going to do panels like we did with the tomatoes in the past, and further down the hill you'll see the panels. But for now, it's just going to be some poles and some string, and see if we can't unsuffocate the corn and the okra. They are living, you just can't see them through the jungle. Over here are some determinate Rutgers tomatoes. You saw some of these on the side garden. They need to be staked. They need to be suckered. I just haven't gotten out here. But over here, these were started the same. These tiny ones were started. Well, here's a big one. Beautiful fruit coming up. Had lots of flowers. Very promising. Excited about getting some of these. Over to the right, these are the ones that were started at the same time as the ones over on the side of the house. A friend of ours gifted us those, and I just have a soft spot in my heart, trying to give everything a chance when it comes to a plant, and watermelon and a squash and more watermelon. These squash was an interesting story. I had the tray of watermelons growing, and evidently a squash seed got mixed in with the watermelons, so that's why you have an interrupted row. But heck, you don't know, maybe it's a good relationship and we'll get some really nice squash. Oh, my little, oh, what? 1 strawberry plant. That's a domestic strawberry plant. We tried to plant like 30 of these, and I think they must have stayed in the bag too long before they got to us. And then we additionally let them stay in the bag too long. So, 1 survivor. We'll just see what happens. And more weeds I gotta pull, and beautiful squash, and tomato growing right with the squash. You can see right there, evidently there's a story on how we got tomato seeds mixed in with squash, and a squash mixed in with the watermelon. But we're just going to see what happens. This is kind of my resting spot. Save the beetles. I should honestly give them to the chickens, but I've never seen these guys bothering any of our vegetables. So, aloe, plenty of aloe growing, as well as a few little starts. These were the seed trays that we had all January and February. Here, these tomatoes were given a panel system because they are indeterminate, which means they're not going to be a bush, and they're going to snake all in here. It looks great. They already have some tomatoes kind of popping in, and here we have red and green bell peppers, looking lovely. In between these peppers, I had tried to plant some flowers, but the seeds were very old. I didn't think they would do anything, but one survivor, just like the one strawberry plant. Got one plant trying to make it. And beautiful length on these peppers. Over here we have some Ford acorn squash growing. These seeds were given to me by a friend of ours. They look like they're doing great, this whole little patch, before you get to the apple tree shady resting spot by the aloe. And these are orange trees. These were little pumpkin seeds. They're not sure that they're going to make it or not. Next to some large sugar pumpkins. And over here, closer to the road, we do have a lovely pear tree growing. Pears abound. I believe this is my Moonglow pear tree. Further down is a Barlett pear tree. You gotta have two different varieties. Little culprit here, making a mess. You gotta have two different varieties with a lot of different kinds of fruits, including pear and apple. Over here, let's see here. This is the line of cucumbers. Again, this was 3 batches of cucumbers. Over here we have the pumpkin and cantaloupe. I'm not sure that my cantaloupe is going to do very well this year. Cucumbers. There were 3 batches of cucumbers, and one from a packet, one from a cucumber that I had been gifted and kept the seeds of because it tasted so good. And then there were some cucumber seeds from a cucumber patch that we had saved over a couple of years ago. And I'm not sure that they're doing so well. The next row looks really robust, but this is butternut squash. And I really thought the butternut squash would be growing in vines, and I would snake the vines like they were tomatoes through the panels. But you can see I've already got flowers growing everywhere right at the base of just about every one of these butternut squash plants. So maybe because I crowded them, maybe I got them way too crowded and that inhibited. Okay, so there's large ones and there's these little squatty ones. These squatty ones came out of a packet. I don't know what's going on. Their leaves are yellow just like the cucumbers. So maybe I got something wrong with this side of the yard. Please remember, this side of the yard, this yard garden is the first year. There may be something wrong with this patch. Some inhibitor in the soil. I'm going to just have to try to amend it. Look at how beautiful these peas are going. These are some, I think they're called wonder peas. And they're hopefully going to go up this panel a little further. I guess that yet to be seen. This is our pippin apple tree that was established here before we got here. See if we can find an apple right quick. There's one. Kind of misshapen. Let's find a better one. Over here on the side, we've had the June drop that hits a bunch of apple orchards where the tree blooms out just more apples than it can possibly hold. And down here, we have a row of figs that have been transplanted maybe a little too late, but I think they'll pull through. You just gotta fertilize this side of the yard a little better this fall. Put that on my list of 100 things to do before fall. And here we have a beautiful elderberry tree growing. I have an elderberry tree on each end of this little curve. So there's 2 elderberry tree bushes, one on each side of the forsythia and asparagus patch. It grows in a little curve, kind of designed to help with the rain runoff. Oh, here is the Barlett pear tree. It too is getting loaded down with fruit. Little promise for later in the season. See if I can find any. Oh, a lily. This is from my grandpa's garden. I managed to grab just a couple of those lily plants. Oh, there we go. Right there. Can you see it? Isn't that a beautiful shape? I'm doing so good with pears. Not so good with apples, but I am doing pretty good with the pears. So I've been trying to trim these trees so that they will come back into production. I'm not sure the age of these trees, probably over 30 or 40 years old. But this is the first year I've been able to keep an apple of a goodly size. Thank you everyone for following along on our little saga here at the homestead. And if you would, please go ahead and like, subscribe, tell your friends. If you also would like notification when we get a video posted, there's a bell. Just ring that and you will get those notifications. But also just wanted to let everyone know how much we appreciate the support that we're getting from everyone, the encouraging words and prayers. I really appreciate that. And here is that we're hoping for a good harvest. We do have some more members of our animal cast that we're going to be introducing. There are a few videos right now in production. It's just, when can I find 1 or 2 hours of quiet that I can put a little bit of dubbing, some voiceover, or even just editing some decent videos for your viewing pleasure. But we'll manage to squeeze it in. Thank you, everyone. So stay tuned.